A Student Intake for Career Professionals by Lori Dameron. When students come into career development centers for the first time, they often have difficulty articulating their needs. I have designed this intake so that when students do meet with their career advisor for the first time or come back after a year or two hiatus, the general probing has been completed, and advisors are able to spend time with the student working on their career and professional development without spending an elaborate amount of time probing to ascertain where a student is developmentally within the career and professional development spectrum. Asking key questions to get at the core of students' needs and to learn students' understanding of their professional development is critical and more important to spend time in this area. To that end, I created an electronic intake form designed for new students to complete prior to meeting with their career advisor. This intake is used primarily with sophomores and freshmen making their first appointment with the O'Brien Center staff and is incorporated into their first appointment. In addition to the intake, one question has been developed, and all students who log into Advantage, the O'Brien Center CRM, answer this question before they have access to services and resources available through the system. A single question is developed each summer, and returning students answer this question when they first log on to Advantage in the fall. Operational needs. All student activity gets tracked, and when designing this intake, it was important to be able to connect it to students' profile through our CRM. By doing this, it eliminates the need to ask rote questions such as what is your name, what is your major, when do you graduate, because all this information is already loaded into the system. Because students have a limited attention for questionnaires, I created an intake with few questions but is designed to garner maximum information. The data collection process. I collected information on how to structure intakes by reaching out to peer and aspirant colleges to learn how they work with new students. I did research to learn best practices and put all the data together, aligned it with the needs of the Merrimack students and the capacity of our center. I referenced the question to all students in a previous slide. And while in the process of creating this intake, asking one question to all students, not just first-timers in the center, was decided. This question is being posed to all new and returning students, and when students log on to Advantage, the O'Brien Center CRM, before they are able to access their account, they will be forced to answer one question: what are your career goals this year? We are doing this because we want to learn, in the students' words, what they wish to do this year. When we work with them, we will have their answers in front of us and be able to chat with the student about their goals for the upcoming year. So back to the intake. The intake is broken down into several different categories. The first category are general interest. And I've designed 3 questions to really kind of just get general information from the student. What do you want to accomplish from our meeting today? This identifies the student's short-term needs and perceptions. I also ask what their current interests and long-term goals are, and this allows students to situate their goals within a wider timeline and begin to grasp the developmental process. The third question, why did you choose your current major, gets at the driving factors as to why they're majoring in a particular subject. And it allows us to ask probing questions during conversations. The next category is related to obstacles. There is one question on this intake, and the question is there anything that you can identify as a potential obstacle in reaching your goals? This is an important question to ask students because we need to know what students see as issues, and it allows advising staff to ask questions surrounding real or perceived barriers that may be presented. Also identifying forward motion. In this, we wanted to find out what the student has done thus far, and the question that we've posed is, have you taken any steps toward your career development? And we provided examples. For example, informational interviews, created a resume, completed an internship. And this is just to identify what the student has done thus far and to situate where they're at and where they need to go. Toward the future. We do ask a question after today's meeting: what are other areas of career development you would like assistance with? And this is to get at the other needs students may have, and allows advisors to ask pointed questions about their responses. We also ask a couple of questions about interest and involvement. What do you do in your spare time? And outside of coursework, how involved are you in your college? So the spare time question is important to understand students' interests and hobbies and to encourage them to consider how these interests may be used from a career perspective. And outside of coursework, how involved are you? This gauges the level of extracurricular activity. It's also may be used as a warning sign for students who are not engaged at all or are underengaged, and allows a dialogue to begin. The last question we ask is just inquiring if there's any additional information the student would like to share, which will assist advisors in working with them. This is an open-ended question, and it gives the students an opportunity to jot something down where the other questions may not have been appropriate. And those are the 9 questions that we ask on an electronic intake. The process is such that when students come into the office, they will be given an iPad and with a keyboard and asked to complete the intake prior to meeting with their advisor. Once they complete the intake, they will be taken in and they'll be able to meet with their advisors. Simultaneously, all of the information the students shared on their intake will populate on the career advisor's computer screen. So they will have real-time access to this information. If you have further questions, I'm happy to answer any questions via the CDF email. Thank you.